2025 was not a loud year. It didn't shout at us, it showed us. It revealed truth slowly, often uncomfortably, and without apology. There were no grand speeches, no clear villains, no dramatic victories. Instead, the year functioned like a mirror, reflecting human behavior under pressure. It showed how people respond when patience runs thin and certainty feels fragile. It exposed how easily empathy collapses when convenience is prioritized over character. Across America, people didn't just experience events, they experienced themselves. The year quietly stripped away social masks, public personas, and moral shortcuts. It revealed who stayed grounded, who reacted impulsively, and who still chose decency when no one was rewarding it. 2025 didn't teach lessons through success or celebration. It taught them through pressure, loss, silence, uncertainty, and emotional fatigue. These are not motivational ideas designed to make anyone feel good. They are hard truths about human behavior in a stressed, divided, overstimulated society. And they matter most to those who still believe that respect, integrity, emotional intelligence, and humanity are worth protecting. 1. Kindness became rare, and that's exactly why it became powerful. In 2025, kindness was no longer common currency. In American workplaces, online spaces, and even families, calm and respectful behavior began to feel unfamiliar. Many people were operating in survival mode, emotionally reactive, impatient, and defensive. In that environment, simple kindness stood out like strength, not softness. Those who remained polite under pressure earned trust faster than those who demanded attention through volume. Kindness quietly disarmed conflict where aggression only escalated it. In a culture exhausted by outrage, calmness felt almost revolutionary. People noticed who could disagree without humiliating others. Respect became memorable precisely because it was no longer expected. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. 2025 proved this wasn't sentimental advice, it was strategic wisdom. 2. Being busy no longer meant being meaningful. 2025 exposed a painful reality. Many Americans were constantly busy, yet deeply unfulfilled. Calendars were packed, deadlines were relentless, and attention was always divided. Yet beneath the activity, there was a growing sense of emotional emptiness. Movement replaced meaning, and urgency replaced intention. People began to recognize that productivity without purpose leads to exhaustion, not fulfillment. Busyness became noise, not progress. Tasks multiplied, but clarity diminished. Many realized they were doing more while feeling less alive. Don't confuse motion with progress. This truth forced a quiet but necessary reassessment of priorities. 3. Emotional intelligence outperformed raw talent. Talent opened doors, but emotional intelligence kept them open. In 2025, Americans witnessed this truth across leadership, relationships, and careers. Skill alone was no longer enough in tense, unpredictable environments. Those who lacked emotional regulation struggled to sustain influence. Pressure exposed temperament faster than talent ever could. People who managed stress, listened carefully, and responded thoughtfully navigated instability far better. Emotional self-control became a competitive advantage. Pausing before reacting proved more powerful than proving intelligence. Those who remained composed under pressure earned respect without demanding it. Anyone can get angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person, at the right time, for the right reason, that is not easy. 2025 rewarded emotional maturity over raw brilliance. 4. Honesty without compassion became destructive. Many people in 2025 justified cruelty by calling it honesty. But what they delivered was bluntness without responsibility. America learned that truth without empathy damages trust instead of strengthening it. Words spoken without care created unnecessary fractures in families, workplaces, and communities. Being correct became less valuable than being constructive. Tone began to matter as much as content. Timing proved just as important as intention. People realized that honesty is not about unloading truth, it's about delivering it responsibly. Emotional intelligence determined whether honesty healed or harmed. People will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. 2025 exposed that real honesty requires restraint, not aggression. 5. Social media rewarded reaction, not reflection. 2025 confirmed something deeply uncomfortable. Online platforms rewarded speed, outrage, and extremity, not wisdom. The fastest reaction often gained more attention than the most thoughtful response. Anger traveled faster than nuance. Certainty outperformed curiosity in digital spaces. Many Americans noticed the emotional cost of constant reaction. Mental clarity eroded under non-stop commentary. Stepping back became an act of self-respect, not withdrawal. The loudest voices gained visibility, but the calmest voices preserved peace. Not everything that deserves a response deserves your energy. Reflection, though quieter, became a form of personal power. 6. Good manners became a form of quiet rebellion. In 2025, something subtle but significant occurred in American society. Basic manners began to feel unusual. Saying thank you, listening without interrupting, and respecting disagreement became exceptions rather than norms. In tense environments, courtesy felt almost radical. Politeness started standing out more than dominance. In offices, restaurants, online discussions, and family interactions, people noticed who remained respectful under pressure. Good manners stopped being about tradition or formality. They became signals of emotional discipline and self-respect. Courtesy reflected inner stability in a reactive world. Civility is not outdated. It is disciplined. In a culture driven by speed and confrontation, politeness became quiet resistance. 7. Success without values felt empty. By mid-2025, many Americans reached milestones they once chased relentlessly. Better pay, public recognition, growth, and influence arrived, but fulfillment did not. The year exposed a difficult truth. Success without values creates noise, not meaning. Achievement alone could not anchor identity. Without integrity, discipline, and purpose, success felt unstable. Outward wins masked inward confusion. People began questioning what they were actually building. Ambition without ethics lost its emotional reward. If success costs your character, the price is too high. 2025 forced a redefinition of what winning truly means. 8. Most conflicts were ego-driven, not principle-driven. One of the clearest lessons of 2025 was this. Many conflicts were never about truth. They were about identity, pride, and validation. Disagreement quickly turned personal. Ego entered conversations before understanding had a chance. In politics, workplaces, and relationships, people fought harder to protect self-image than to explore reality. Humility disappeared, and dialogue collapsed. The need to be right outweighed the need to be respectful. Those who chose restraint did not lose, they preserved peace. Ego speaks first. Wisdom speaks last. 2025 revealed that maturity often means choosing silence over victory. 9. Mental peace became the new definition of success. As anxiety, burnout, and overstimulation intensified, Americans quietly redefined success. Doing more lost its appeal. Feeling stable became the real goal. People valued calm mornings over chaotic ambition. Boundaries replaced applause as markers of achievement. Emotional balance began to matter more than external validation. The most respected individuals weren't the loudest achievers. They were the most grounded. Peace became a sign of clarity, not complacency. Peace is not laziness. It is clarity. 2025 legitimized inner stability as a meaningful life achievement. 10. Listening became more powerful than speaking. In a year dominated by opinions, true listening became rare. Most people spoke to respond, not to understand. Those who listened deeply stood out immediately. Attention became more influential than argument. Presence mattered more than persuasion. People noticed that listeners built trust faster. They understood situations more accurately. They influenced without force. Listening was no longer passive. It was intentional strength. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to reply. 2025 rewarded those who broke this pattern. 11. Not everyone deserved access to your energy. In 2025, many Americans learned this lesson the hard way. Access is not entitlement. Time and emotional availability became limited resources, not unlimited favors. Just because someone had been present for years did not mean they were healthy to keep close. People began to notice patterns, conversations that drained instead of nourished, relationships that took without replenishing. Emotional drains became easier to identify. Constant negativity, subtle disrespect, manipulation disguised as concern. Setting boundaries initially felt uncomfortable, even guilt-inducing, especially for those raised to please others. But over time, boundaries felt clarifying and stabilizing. You don't owe everyone access to your inner world. 2025 taught that protecting your energy is not selfish, it is disciplined self-respect. 12. Soft skills outperformed hard aggression. For years, aggression had been mistaken for confidence. Volume was confused with authority, and dominance with leadership. But 2025 quietly corrected that misunderstanding across American workplaces and social spaces. People observed that aggressive personalities created short-term compliance but long-term resistance. In contrast, those who communicated calmly achieved cooperation without coercion. Soft skills, empathy, patience, emotional clarity, and listening proved to be hard advantages. They de-escalated conflict instead of inflaming it. America relearned that strength does not always raise its voice. Sometimes it lowers it. Power doesn't need to announce itself. 13. Being right didn't always mean being respected. 2025 exposed a difficult reality many struggled to accept. You can win an argument and still lose people. Being correct did not guarantee being trusted. Correction delivered without care often felt like humiliation. Facts spoken without humility created defensiveness instead of understanding. Respect began to depend more on tone than intellect. People who prioritized connection over domination built influence that lasted longer than arguments. They were heard because they were safe to engage with. Winning the moment can cost the relationship. This truth reshaped communication in families, teams, and leadership spaces. 14. Traditions carried wisdom we ignored for too long. As the world accelerated, 2025 quietly slowed some people down. Endless novelty began to feel exhausting rather than exciting. Family dinners, routines, discipline, punctuality, and basic respect, once labeled outdated, regained meaning. Americans began to see structure not as restriction, but as stability. Traditions provided grounding in a time of uncertainty and change. They reminded people of continuity when everything else felt temporary. Values passed down through generations offered emotional anchoring. Tradition is not pressure from the past, it is guidance. 2025 proved that progress does not require abandoning roots. 15. Hustle without balance damaged mental health. Hustle culture reached a visible breaking point. In 2025, burnout stopped being a silent struggle and became a public reality. Constant productivity stripped people of joy, creativity, and emotional clarity. Many realized they were working harder but feeling emptier. Rest was no longer framed as laziness, it was recognized as maintenance. Those who ignored balance paid with anxiety, irritability, and exhaustion. Those who honored limits regained focus and perspective. You are not a machine. You are a human being. America began redefining ambition through sustainability rather than sacrifice. 16. Silence often spoke louder than arguments. 2025 taught many Americans that not every disagreement deserved engagement. Responding to everything became emotionally expensive. Silence evolved into a deliberate, thoughtful choice. Not avoidance, but wisdom. People learned that walking away preserved dignity when arguing only fed ego. Restraint became a signal of emotional maturity. In a culture obsessed with instant response, patience stood out. Silence protected peace when words would only escalate conflict. Sometimes the strongest reply is no reply. This lesson quietly saved relationships, reputations, and mental health. 17. Integrity revealed itself when no one was watching. Perhaps the most sobering lesson of 2025 was this. Character is revealed in private moments. Not when cameras are present. Not when praise or recognition is expected. But in small, unseen decisions. Honesty, restraint, discipline, when no reward is attached. America was reminded that reputation is what others see, but integrity is what you live. People recognized the weight of choices made in solitude. Those moments quietly defined who they truly were. Character is who you are when no one is applauding. 2025 made this truth impossible to ignore. 18. Compassion required strength, not softness. One of the most misunderstood truths of 2025 was compassion. In a polarized, abrasive environment, kindness was often mistaken for weakness. Yet America observed something undeniable. Compassionate people were not fragile, they were disciplined. Compassion required restraint when reaction felt easier. It demanded emotional regulation in moments of provocation. It meant choosing humanity without surrendering boundaries. People who practiced compassion did not lose control, they lost bitterness. Compassion is not surrender. It is controlled strength. 2025 proved that remaining humane in a ruthless environment requires courage, not softness. 19. Consistency earned more respect than perfection. For a long time, perfection was celebrated and idealized. But 2025 quietly shifted that narrative. People became exhausted by impressive starts followed by inconsistency. They stopped expecting flawless performance and began valuing dependability. Those who showed up every day, even imperfectly, earned deeper trust over time. Consistency created predictability, and predictability created emotional safety. People felt calmer around those who were reliable. Those who promised less but delivered consistently gained quiet credibility. In American workplaces and relationships, consistency reduced anxiety and confusion. Perfection impresses for a moment. Consistency builds trust over time. 2025 proved that people rely on what repeats, not what dazzles once. 20. Inner peace became the new status symbol. In earlier years, status was loud and attention-seeking. It was measured by productivity, urgency, recognition, and visibility. In 2025, status became quiet. People began admiring those who remained calm under pressure. Those who were not constantly reactive appeared emotionally wealthy. Peace became rare, and therefore valuable. Stability felt more impressive than constant motion. Having control over one's thoughts, reactions, and time felt like true power. Inner calm signaled mastery in a chaotic environment. Calm is expensive. Not everyone can afford it. America slowly began associating success with balance, not burnout. 21. Not every relationship was meant to last. One of the hardest emotional lessons of 2025 was acceptance. Some relationships naturally reached their end, not because of hatred, betrayal, or dramatic conflict, but because growth changes direction. People learned that forcing outdated connections created emotional strain. Holding on to misaligned relationships drained energy and distorted self-identity. Letting go required emotional maturity, not cruelty. Endings became acts of honesty rather than rejection. Some people enter your life to teach you, not to stay. 2025 normalized healthy separations without bitterness or resentment. 22. Self-control became a rare leadership skill. Under stress and disagreement, 2025 exposed real leadership. It was not found in dominance or loud authority. It was not found in impulsive reactions. It appeared in those who paused before responding. Self-control became the clearest indicator of maturity. Leaders who regulated emotions created trust and stability. Their calm presence reduced tension in uncertain moments. People felt safer following those who acted deliberately. In America, restraint became more convincing than charisma. The strongest person in the room is the one who can control himself. Self-mastery proved more powerful than position. 23. Discipline outperformed motivation every time. Motivation was unreliable throughout 2025. It fluctuated with mood, news cycles, and emotional states. Discipline remained steady. Those who relied on habits progressed even during difficult periods. Structure replaced inspiration when energy was low. Discipline created momentum without emotional dependence. It provided direction when clarity was missing. Consistency in routine built confidence over time. Motivation starts the journey. Discipline finishes it. America relearned that lasting growth depends on systems, not feelings. 24. Humanity survived, but only where people protected it. 2025 did not erase humanity, but it revealed how easily it can fade. Humanity survived through conscious, everyday decisions. Honesty when deception was convenient. Kindness when cruelty was rewarded. Integrity when shortcuts promised faster results. Humanity did not survive in slogans or speeches. It survived in behavior, not branding. Humanity doesn't survive automatically. It survives intentionally. Where conscience outweighed convenience, humanity remained alive. 25. The future belongs to those who stay human. The final truth of 2025 was the most defining. The future does not belong to the fastest, not to the loudest, not to the most aggressive. It belongs to those who remain human in an increasingly mechanical world. Those who preserve empathy in the face of indifference. Those who act with principle under pressure. Those who refuse to trade their soul for efficiency. Wisdom quietly outweighed speed. The future will be shaped not by speed, but by wisdom. 2025 reminded America and the world that humanity is not outdated. It is essential. Remember, 2025 was never meant to break us. It was meant to reveal us. Some people reacted without thinking. Some people hardened to survive. Some people lost themselves along the way. And some, quietly, chose reflection over reaction. They chose character over comfort. They chose humanity over ego. If these truths felt heavy, it's because they were real. If they felt familiar, it's because you were already aware. 2026 will not become better simply because time moves forward. It will become better when people move inward, when they speak with intention, when they choose with integrity, when they treat others with dignity, even when it costs them something. Move forward calmly, live deliberately, protect your values, and above all, stay human. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And thank you for being part of this meaningful journey.